And I am back with Chapter 15, Part 5. And this is the intermitted IV infusions. They're IV piggybacks. And some of them are going to be IV push. And there's a difference between the IV piggyback and the IV push. Okay, the IV piggybacks is a small amount of IV solution that generally holds an antibiotic, and it's given over like 30 minutes, an hour, 45 minutes, a short amount of time. And IV push is an injection into the IV port, and you're going to give it over a span of so many minutes, like the largest one I've seen is up to 3 to 5 minutes. But you can't give it. You got to string out that to where it's won't blow the vein, or won't. Some of them are very strong and it could burn the vein, could damage the vein in other ways. So with the IV push, you want to break that amount that you're giving down to where you're giving so much every 15 seconds, because it's the IV pushes, you're giving it over a amount of time, and it's generally no more than so many milligrams per minute. And we'll get to those, but let's look right now at the IV push, or the IV piggyback. And this is example 19. I have an order for cefazolin 0.5 grams in 100 milliliters, D5W, IVPB. The IVPB tells you that it's an IV piggyback, to run over 30 minutes. We have a drop factor of 20 drops per milliliter. And all I want to know is the flow rate. Calculate the flow rate. Okay? And again, since I'm given a drop factor, then I know my answer is going to be in drops per minute. And now again, I'm giving you the whole order here, so there's some of these numbers we're not going to need. I don't need to know that there's 0.5 grams in the IV, because it's 100 milliliter. It's a very small bag, but even with the 0.5 grams of medication in it, it's still just 100 milliliters. So this is my total volume, and it's to run over 30 minutes. Well, that's my total time, and of course my drop factor. So I need the total volume, which is 100 milliliters, over my total time, which is 30 minutes, times my drop factor, 20 drops per milliliter. I don't need the time conversion because this one's already in minutes. So my milliliters will cancel. I can cancel this 0 and this 0. So then I've got 200 over 3. Which is 66.7. So I'm going to round that to 67 drops per minute. You could round it to 66 drops per minute. So either way. And that's all I need to know. What is my flow rate? So it's going to flow at 66, 67 drops in 1 minute. Example 20 is another IV piggyback. And again, if you want to pause the video and work this one, and then come back and check it, you're more than welcome to. As a matter of fact, I kind of advise it. So my order is amoxicillin, 250 milligrams in 50 milliliters, of D5W. It's an IVPB, so an IV piggyback, to infuse in 30 minutes. Every 6 hours. And I have a drop factor of 15 drops per milliliter. And again, I just want to know the flow rate. So there's a lot of information in here I don't really need. I don't need to know, as far as calculating flow rate, I don't need to know the 250 milligrams. I need to know the 50 milliliters. I need to know the 30 minutes. To calculate flow rate, I don't need to know the 6 hours. But I do need to know the drop factor. So, I want drops per minute. So my total volume is the 50 milliliters. It runs over 30 minutes. Times my drop factor was 15 drops per milliliter. Since it's already in minutes, I don't need my time conversion. My zeros will cancel there. 3 will go into 15 5 times. That's 1. So I got 5 times 5, which is 25 drops per minute. I didn't cancel out my milliliters. So that's my flow rate. So the flow rate for the piggybacks and the flow rates for the just regular IVs, pretty much the same thing. You're taking your total volume divided by your total time, time your drop factor, and then if you need a time conversion, then to use it. With the piggybacks, a lot of times you won't need the time conversion. Okay, I'm going to stop this one here and then come back with the IV push.